Hello everyone, William here, and I am here to talk to you about the first of 4 playoffs of the American Ninja Warrior Ninja versus Ninja. We have reached the almost end of the competition. Only 16 teams are left, and at this point, there are no more second chances, no more excuses. If you fail, you are out. If you win, you move on. Single elimination, and that's it. No more wild cards. So, before we begin, there is something I kind of want to talk about in regards to the floating tiles. I feel like the floating tiles are a bit unfair for team competition. For a few things. I mentioned before, I think they're kind of unsafe, especially when people running them at the same time. You kind of have issues with people like really running into each other, but like in an unsafe way. It's one thing when people kind of bump into each other when they're hanging on something, but like on something that's more balance oriented, like floating tiles, it seems a bit dangerous. There's a few, I'm concerned about people like maybe bashing their heads or something. We've had a few people instances of people going like sternum first into the tiles, and there have been injury concerns with that obstacle. Also, it really feels like whoever takes on the floating tiles second is at a bit of a disadvantage because the tiles are shaking by the time the second person gets to the obstacle, which I imagine would make it a lot harder because it makes it more likely for your foot placement to be off when doing the obstacle. So I kind of hope that if there is another season of Ninja vs. Ninja, because let's be honest, we're kind of in a if situation right now. I hope they address that for the future. But let's talk about the actual episode, shall we? So, first up in the playoffs, we had the Golden Hearts versus the NorCal Ninjas. NorCal Ninjas made it from the wild card. Golden Hearts made it from one of the earlier episodes of the qualifier, so they didn't have to do any sort of wild card. First up, Neil Craver versus Brian Kretsch. Before we begin, I just wanted to mention what the new obstacles are. So, in spot number 3, we have the parallel pipes. Basically, you take these the swing first swing from the ring swing, and you got these 2 pipes that go across. Both people can grab them. You got to climb across. They're grippy. Like you can look and they got that grip stuff on them that certain A&W obstacles have to make it harder for you to slip off. So you got that thing where people, they're on the pipes together. You got a risk of falling off and all that jazz if you're not careful. Then the 5th obstacle is the hanging staircase. Basically, you have the floating staircase. You got 2 floating staircases, one for each lane, that go into a singular shaking monkey bars. And that you can basically just grab any portion of the pipe and go across, as evidenced by what I saw. And then there's a singular staircase that you have to use to get your way back down. You can fight your way around it. I'm not as crazy about there only being 1 lane for the staircase, but it is what it is. So Neil Craver versus Brian Kretsch. This was a good race. It was relatively close, but Neil was able to win in the end. Not much to say other than that Neil finished first. Next up, Natalie Duran versus Anna Shoemaker. Natalie did get wet on the tiles after Anna got the lead on the parallel pipes. Was able to dismount those things faster. This is where kind of like the whole thing I was saying about the tiles being more difficult for the second person. But in a surprise, Anna Shoemaker couldn't get up the warped wall. Natalie took advantage, got up there first. So Golden Hearts take the lead 2-0. This means David Campbell had to save the NorCal Ninjas if they wanted to avoid elimination. Came down to Grant McCartney versus David Campbell. It was a close race, very close race, but Grant was able to get there first before David did. So Golden Hearts move on to the quarterfinals after sweeping the NorCal Ninjas 3-0. So then we had the Beasts from the East versus Iron Grip. So first up, Dave Cavanagh versus Mathis Owhadi. Dave Cavanagh was able to get a lead on the parallel pipes. However, Mathis, in an attempt to try to catch up, he tried making a big jump on the stairs. making their way across. But unfortunately, he missed the big jump and fell immediately into the water. So Beast from the East go up 1-0. Dave Cavanagh ended up finishing anyway. So women time, Erica Cook versus Tiana Webberley. Erica was able to get a sizable lead on the parallel pipes. However, she ended up missing the warped wall twice trying to get up that thing. And in the end, Tiana was able to scale the warped wall when Erica could not. So Tiana scores a point, tied things up for Iron Grip 1-1. So then it came down to the captains, James McGrath versus Daniel Gil. They mentioned Daniel Gil doing cryotherapy now, which is where you get really cold for reoxygenation and all that. James McGrath literally got hung upside down on the parallel pipes. He tried sitting on the second one, trying to do I guess almost kind of like jump over. But the problem was Daniel Gil was hanging on the bottom one. This caused the pipe to swing. James fell backwards. He was able to catch himself and recover, but unfortunately he ended up losing so much time trying to recover on those pipes that Daniel Gil finished first. So Iron Grip gets the 2-1 advantage. Basically, when it came to the relay, Tiana got the lead for the team, and then Iron Grip kept the lead the entire time despite Beast from the East's best efforts. And so Iron Grip, moving on to the quarterfinals, they win 3-1. And so, quarterfinal time. Winner moves on to the final four semifinals. We have Golden Hearts versus Iron Grip. First up, Grant McCarthy versus Mathis Owhadi. This was an interesting race. Very interesting here. Grant McCarthy got the early lead until they got to the spider ladder section. Basically, Grant visibly slowing down after making it up the warped wall. Mathis got up the spider salmon ladder first. Grant very slow on the rumbling dice, and it looked like Mathis was going to finish first. However, Mathis falls on the zigzag climb, fails to complete it, and at this point, Grant is in a situation, he's still on the second dice. He actually hooks his feet around the rumbling dice and hangs and rests a bit. I'm kind of curious of how long they're allowed to rest in that situation. But basically, Grant is hanging upside down. He takes off his shirt. He completes the rumbling dice. He puts his shirt back on, and he looks like he's dead. He is dying of exhaustion, and you're just thinking, how is he going to get up this zigzag climb? He goes about it. He is going very slowly. He makes it about halfway through, but then he falls also, resulting in a victory for Mathis and Iron Grip. They go up 1-0 in this quarterfinal match. Very, very interesting race. You don't see that very often, where someone has to make a situation where someone has to finish in order to win, but it's a situation where the other person failed ahead of them. It's very interesting. And then it came down to the women, Natalie, Duran, and Tiana Webberley. Basically, Tiana got the lead on the pipes, but she fell on the tiles, and then Natalie cleared the tiles. So just like that, we're all tied up 1-1. So then it came down to the captains, Neil Craver versus Daniel Gil. They were close throughout the first 5 obstacles, even to the point where they were like literally on top of each other on the staircase coming down. They were like, it was crazy. They were exerting so much energy fighting each other. Neil took a quick breath on the warped wall. This gave Daniel Gil the lead on the warped wall, and they came very close on the zigzag climb, but in the end, Daniel Gil finished first, brought his team up 2-1. Relay time, do or die for the Golden Hearts. Tiana was able to get the lead on the pipes over Natalie. Grant went for a huge dismount on the staircase, got like half wet, like waist down wet, but able to save some time. Very interesting situation at the end, in that Neil Craver actually finished the rumbling dice first. He barely eked out Daniel Gil. finish obstacles. So they were head-to-head, and so they were in a situation where Daniel Gil had to finish in order to get the point, and they were running up the zigzag climb, and it was close, but Daniel Gil finished the zigzag climb first, this resulting in a victory for Iron Grip. Overall, they win. They are going on to the semifinals of the tournament, so they will be in the final episode of the season, and the Golden Hearts will finish in the top 8. So good effort by them. Iron Grip moves on. Good episode, I'd say. Definitely surprised to see a clean sweep this late in the competition, but in the first round. But still some good stuff. That final that drama between Grant and Mathis, probably my favorite. I do find it weird that they act like Mathis is a newcomer, even though he was in College Madness. But they mentioned Andrew Philbeck being in College Madness, so not sure what's up with that. That's kind of weird. But so this week, so episode 2 of the playoffs was supposed to be on May 21st, but that got pushed back for some reason. I don't know. Everything got pushed back a week. So playoff 2 is going to be a week after that, which means we're going to be pretty deep into A&W 10 before Ninja vs. Ninja ends, which is always weird just because of how far back Ninja vs. Ninja films when they do that. But for playoff number 2, we are going to have Phoenix Force, the Wolfpack, LeBreakfast Club, and Frostbite compete against each other for spot number 2 of the semifinals. I mean, LeBreakfast Club. It's got to be LeBreakfast Club, right? Like, when I saw that list, my immediate thought was, well, not Phoenix Force. Unless Michael and Najee can carry Cassie even more. Unfortunately, I can't pick Phoenix Force. LeBreakfast Club was very dominant in their episode, and I think they have a strong chance of winning. I don't know what the actual matchups are, but they're going to be in it. So but look forward to seeing what happens, and thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time for episode 2 of the playoffs of American Ninja Warrior, Ninja vs. Ninja. Until next time, thanks for watching. See ya.